ERD. It's called an entity relationship diagram. Okay, so this is going to help us to understand our data, and like your job is literally going to be to make these sometimes. Kinda. It's a chart. It's basically a chart which describes your data. If you want to be a backend developer, you need to know how to do this. So I just drew a diagram of what we did earlier. I'm going to draw the diagram again and we'll explain it as we go, okay? And this diagram right here is going to illustrate how our database is working. So you guys can go to lucidcharts.com and create a new account. And once you guys open it up, you guys can create a document. You'll find yourself at a screen like this. You can look at templates. You can just look at one called ERD right here. There's all types of different diagrams that you guys can make. If you guys learn how to use this tool right here, man, I feel like this tool is so complicated. You guys get a job just knowing how to build fucking diagrams all day. Look how complicated this tool is. It's crazy. But right now, as developers, we're looking at entity relationship diagram. I'm not going to use I guess we could use the template. There's different types. Just know that there's different types, okay? But I'm going to create a new one. We'll create a new document. We'll say a blank template. Am I recording? And then we're just going to take in a flow chart. I hope this works. Please work. Okay, my bad. This is not the one I actually want to do. Let's do it from template. Okay, my bad. New template from template, and then we're gonna choose ERD because it's gonna be set up the way that we want it. It has the correct ones. I'm gonna choose this one, a base entity. Create document. Okay, so you guys can see there's some notes, a whole bunch of scary tools, right? We can just delete it all. You guys can leave it there, whatever. But on the left, we see this thing called the entity relationship tab. Inside the column on the left, we can drag it into our screen, and then we can just name the entity. What is the first entity we did earlier? Students. Okay, nice. Okay, so now we can add different things. We'll add an ID. We'll say, this is actually a more sophisticated one. This one might be called integer, okay? And then we'll say something else. We'll say first name. Ooh, this one needs to be bigger. Can I not make this bigger? First name, last name. These are both strings. String. This one isn't as pretty. I wish I chose the other one. Whatever. All right, so we can just copy this and paste it down. We're going to create one called assignments. Inside of here, instead of assignment, it's going to have a title. It's going to have a due date. Can I add another table? We'll add another field. What's something else we can have assignment? Difficulty. Okay. This would be a string. And the due date will be a date. We'll add another one. What's another thing we have? Description. And that's going to be text. Okay, so now we've got our two tables. These represent real things in life that we come across. And we want to demonstrate how we can connect these two tables using a bridging table. So we're going to go ahead and create one more entity. We're going to call this one student assignments. Student assignments. Once again, remember that each one of these tables needs to have its own ID, which is an integer. The student ID assignments table is going to have a student ID. As well as an assignment ID. And both these fields will also be integers. So yes, conceptually, we understand as human beings, well, not as human beings, but as people that were just given a demonstration of how this works, that these tables can be linked, right? They can be linked to one another. Airtable already did a whole bunch of magic for you, okay? But know that sometimes we need to draw diagrams that are going to help people understand this. So each one of our students can have many assignments, but they have the assignments through our bridging table, the student ID, student assignments. So from here, we can click and drag from ID and pull it to match the student ID. In conjunction, each one of our student assignments will have an assignment ID, and that will correspond to one assignment. Is that right? One of these. Yeah. So each assignment can have, each student assignment can have one assignment ID. Is it? No, see, each assignment, like each assignment here, each assignment will have many student assignments as well. Okay, yeah, you're right, I'm tripping. Yeah, you're right. Okay, Qua's right. Thank you, Qua, for being here. So now this is how we're going to make our relationship between our data. Okay, this is a simplified example, and we can do much more with this simple pattern. What's some other stuff we need to know about, like, you know, if we're running a school and we need to keep some data? A bunch, right? But I want you guys to just know that you guys need to know how to use this tool. Okay, use this tool and understand this diagram. This is a part of our job as a database architect or a back-end developer. One day, you're gonna talk to your technical lead, and they're gonna ask you why this makes sense, and you need to draw a little picture to show them. Okay, guys? All right, you guys keep going.
Is there any way to upload your Airtable and have it just do that automatically?
So they said that. I don't know. I don't trust the tools. Tools are always talking about how perfect they are. I just requested access. I think you should get an email now. I also don't have the one for a lucid chart. Come on, baby. Okay, guys, you guys can see that this is a basically a database for Tiki. Okay, so Tiki, they're mainly concerned with customers. They got to know certain things like the customer's address, the city, the country, first name, last name, email, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. It's mind-blowing how much data you guys can keep about a customer. Okay, so the main objective of Tiki is to sell things, right? You got to know how to sell things. If Tiki does not sell any things, they're not going to be in business very long. Okay, so correspondingly, we know that they have a products table. And in their products table, each product has a name and each product has an ID. The ID is used to identify the product, okay, to identify. And we're going to be using that in just a moment. In conjunction, you guys can see a bunch of other stuff that a product might have. One thing I can see right now, I'm not trying to be criticizing you guys. I want you guys to know this. I always say that, like, this stuff always gets more complicated. So for example, this field right here where we have a URL for a picture, is this good? Kinda, it works.
We want to link to some picture that's in our server.
No. That's okay. You can have a URL, but the problem with this database design right now is each product can only have one image. There can only be one image for this product. And you look at the reality. If you look at something for real, like for example, an Apple phone, and then you look at one of these things, you're gonna see that they have many photos. Okay, I'm pretty confident. I hope I'm right here. Okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry I was wrong.
We did a check.
But typically there are. I promise. Come on, guys. You guys can. I'm pretty fucking confident they normally have many images.
Most of them do it. Yeah, you just pick them.
So just know that the way this database is designed is like now they all have to have one image. Here we go. We have multiple images. So this database schema right here does not support that. That is not horrible. That is not like the worst thing in the world. It will work and it will have an image. There's only one image that you guys might do this for sometimes. That's called avatar image. Okay. The user table might have an avatar image field, and that avatar image field will have an actual URL in it. But typically, you want to build a bridging table so that each product can have many different images. And I'm going to do that right now. So we're going to create an empty product. Say product images, and then we're gonna create a new table ID. Instead here, we're gonna stick in that thingy. We're gonna save it, and then we're gonna stick in a product ID. Okay, and then we're gonna make this link to a different thingy. We're gonna say products. Okay, and then here we'll have our URL, and then we're gonna say this is a single line text. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a couple different images for our first product. Okay, so let's see what over here. What's our first product? We got a FlexMaster 5000. Okay, so we'll copy this. Is this a real product? Please tell me it's a real product. Okay, this is not a fucking. Okay, I thought it was a real product. Isn't there something called a FlexMaster? Am I stupid? I could have sworn there's something called a FlexMaster.
Try it. Just say FlexMaster with no 5,000.
FlexMaster or FunkMaster Flex. Just loads of FunkMaster Flex.
So this is a real workout equipment. I've heard this before. Something like that. That's not even right.
You're thinking of like AdMaster 3000. Or
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
So let's stay focused for a second, okay? So we got an image, right? I copy my image address. I paste it in here. Does it work? Yes. So let's go ahead and paste this inside of our product images. I'm gonna move this over here. The reason why I'm focusing on this one is because the main, they got a whole bunch of good stuff here. I like where this is going. Just know that the main objective of Tiki is to sell products. So our FlexMaster, what is our FlexMaster? What's its ID? 1, right? So let's go ahead and look. FlexMaster 1, and then we stick in one URL right there, okay? Now imagine that we want to have a second image. We can stick in a 1 right here and say that this is associated with the product with the ID of 1. And then we just get another mouse, for example, another image. Does that make sense, everyone? I know it's a bit confusing, right? That's a pattern that we got to do. This is how we're going to associate it. Because right here, just remember, right here, this one right here only supports one image. And that's why we have to do it more complicated, okay? They have a couple different bridging tables, which is good. And you guys are going to do this a lot, I promise you. If you guys build APIs one day, I guarantee you're going to be doing this a lot. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go ahead and look at the bridging table. Look at this yet.
You might have to be one of his access.
What the fuck?
Lucid chart things quite slow.
It's because this thing is a really complicated problem. We're downloading a whole bunch of files right now. Let's look and see how many files we're downloading.
Oh, fail.
It's okay. No, it's still going. It's still going. No, it's failed. Certain things can fail, but it's not fatal yet, right? Let me refresh it one more time. If not, we're gonna move on. I think you guys all kind of have an idea. It's loading. Dog, look how many requests this makes. Remember in our applications when we loaded our front end, we'd make 1 or 2 requests. They're making hundreds of requests. Okay, so that's amazing. Whatever. Let's keep moving forward. So you guys can see here a diagram. Quad built it all by himself. Good job. So we have our ID. I don't know which way this arrow is going. Is this going up or down? This one right here. It's going down. Okay, it's going down. So guys, building this thing is an art. Okay, like this is for real an art. This is like building a UX UI flow for what's the word I'm looking for? Like a mock, for example, right? So like just know that you guys hone that skill as well, because if you guys can build something like this right here, something complicated like this can get you a job too, okay? There are many other tools that do this. This is one I built for an app that I had an idea for. It didn't get me a job, but my investor gave me money. So I was pretty happy with that one too. Okay, so just know that this thing right here, I don't want to go into this one too much detail. They did a great job. Good job, guys. You guys put a whole bunch of fields in there. I wish you would have named this field better, but whatever, it's okay. You guys get more practice as you go. And you guys can see that on the right, we should be naming what type of data is going in that place, okay? Naming what type of data goes in that place. We have some inconsistencies. What's this thing? What's the inconsistency right here? The table is called customer, but then inside of it, we call it user, okay? That's not a huge thing. Just know that like that's something that's gonna happen. We're gonna confuse ourselves. But okay, guys, good job overall, okay? Let's move forward. Okay, we're gonna move on to group 2. I hope you guys gave me permission. This one? This? This one? Okay, so for group 2, over here, we had grab. Okay, so guys, think about how we model the relationship for grab, okay? So obviously in grab, we're gonna have users, right? We might have Loy. Why can't this work? Why doesn't this work? How do I submit it?
You gotta put a new line. So you want to click out of the line. Yeah, then click on the bottom. No, you have to stay. You're still in the same one. Oh, no. Click out.
But I don't want to click, that's the point. I want to do it with the key, shortcuts.
Maybe because it's a long line field. It's not a single line.
Tab works, okay. So we got a user ID, Lloyd, we got Qua. We got Ed.
You shift enter.
That wasn't working for some. Oh, that inserts a new row. You see what I just did right there? So if I do shift enter, it's gonna make one row below. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You got it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so we have a user, let's say a user ID with Loy, and then we have inbox. This one was for messaging. Grab does have messaging, so this one is something cool that you guys are doing. But let's go ahead and focus on the driver and the booking, okay? Because Grab's main core business is about booking and orders and drivers, okay? Their service is to hook up drivers and users, or drivers and riders, right? Because if you don't have any drivers, users aren't gonna use Grab. I guarantee it, okay? So for each booking, right, you have to have a user ID, right? Otherwise, who made the booking, right? How many users do we have, guys? 3, okay? So if we look at our booking table, we have a user ID of 1. Which user should we have? Correct, right? Obviously, we also need to have a driver's ID. So I don't know if we have any drivers here. So this is gonna say Chloe, she failed at this class. She's gonna be a Grab driver. You know, she wants to drive Cloud now. It's okay. It's okay. You still have a soul, girl. Okay, let's say Chloe is driving. She's a driver now. Okay, and specifically, she was a driver for the booking number 1. She was Grab's very first driver. Incredible. How did you know about it, man? Okay, so you guys can see that in the very first booking, the booking with the ID of 1, the user ID was 1, and that corresponds to a user. And then we have a driver ID of 1. We need to make this correspond to a user, so we're gonna fix this. We're gonna say that's associated with our driver. Okay? Yes, I'm gonna convert it. Okay, we kind of messed up here, it's okay. So there you go. So now we know that, now we can look at our bookings and we can, this first booking, we know who the user is, we know who the driver is, okay? I'm sorry I'm like reiterating this, but this is super critical, man. This is an amazingly critical piece of information. Obviously with the booking, we have so much other details that we can do, right? For example, the status of the booking. When you first order it, right? Is it complete yet? No, right? When you first make a booking on Grab, the first thing that needs to happen is that some driver, I don't even care which driver, needs to accept it, okay? And then when they accept it, the status changes again, right? So let's just say that this one is completed. Or let's just say that I booked it, Chloe accepted, now she's en route. She's en route to pick me up. And then certain things that happen is going to change this piece of data. Okay, guys? When I click that OK button, driver has arrived or whatever, right? That means the status of the booking is going to change. And you guys, I know that this seems like kind of difficult to think about now, but just know that we're going to be doing this sometime in the very near future, okay? So we're going to say this is completed. Okay. Now we can say, let's say Loy was, he went to class and then he made another booking to go home, right? And then we had another driver, okay? And let's just say Tien, she failed class 2, okay? She failed class 2, and then she happened to be working at Grab, because because she didn't know what else to do, okay? So we have another booking, right? We have another booking here, and this time the driver is 3. It's 10, okay? So from this table, you guys can make a lot of assertions, right? Can you guys tell me how many bookings there are? 2. All you gotta do is count how many records there are right here, okay? You guys can tell, just look at how many records there are here. This thing right here, guys, is called a record. Left to right is called a record, okay? Or a row. Record or row. Record or row. Okay?
Entry.
Say again?
They call it entry.
Or an entry. It's just like everything in programming has many, many names. The thing vertically, it's called a column, a field, or a I can't think of anything else right now. Just call it column or field, okay? Quad's throwing me off right now, okay? So just know that when we count our records, we can determine how many there are of something, okay? And obviously this list has 4 examples. How many bookings does Grab have?
Over a million.
Billions.
Billions. I would say maybe billions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really.
Billions.
And why does?
I've used them enough times.
Yeah, I know. I've used Grab at least 100 times, maybe, man, for real. And I kind of forgot to show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys how long it takes to look through 1 million records. Okay, how quickly a computer can do it. Come on, Google. What the fuck?
Too long.
Yeah, way long. I mean, it's bad.
That's why record's too long.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the completed exercises from yesterday, and we're going to do something. We're going to create a random array that is 1 million, that is 10 characters long, and it's going to take 1 million iterations. And we're going to just look at how long it takes. Okay. I forgot which one it is. Hold on. Gotta do the random. We gotta run this bad boy. You done? Sorry, I should have gotten this ready earlier. My bad.
I would think of it like Google, because Google sorted the entire internet and returns search results very fast.
So that's what I'm trying to say. That's why the algorithms is important, kind of. Okay, we're going to show you a great example here in just a second. Okay, so now we're going to do Bogle sort.
No.
Why?
We don't need it.
Why?
We don't need those help.
Which one do you want to do?
But
Don't click.
Come on, let's just see. I just want to see. Let's just see what 1 million iterations. How much time it takes. Okay, I estimate this is going to take about 1 million iterations. It's okay.
Forever. If you're unlucky.
I tried this yesterday again. I got so jealous of Qual yesterday. Whenever he did the whole live code instantly in front of you guys, it's like, man, I gotta study this again. Qual's is making me look bad. Okay, so you guys can see that the iterations here is what? Little over 1 million iterations. Okay, so when we did Bogle sort, where we just randomly fucking throw the cards together, the computer had to sort it 1 million times before it fucking got it working, and that took about 7 seconds. That's not an impossible amount of time. 7 seconds is something you can deal with. Okay. But that's only 1 million. How many users does Facebook have?
2.5 billion.
Over 2 billion. Okay? So that's a mind-blowing number. What's 7 seconds times 1,000? 7,000 seconds, right? 7,000 seconds. That's 2 hours. That takes 2 hours. It would take them 2 hours if they had to sort it the same way. So just know that when we start looking at tables that have millions of records, it starts mattering. Okay, it does start mattering. Yes, your computer can make hundreds of thousands of computations in a second, but can it make many? What if you have 20 people making hundreds of thousands of computations at the same time? Now all of a sudden your system starts slowing down. Okay, so I'm sorry I detracted a little bit. I just kind of wanted you guys to think about why we talked about some of the things we did yesterday. Okay, so right now this is very simple. Two records. Our database can hit this 1 million times in 1 second. But if it has 1 million records in it, each million is going to cost 7 seconds. So that it adds up. Okay? And that's why we have to structure it in such a way that ideally it will run faster. Everything we've shown you guys in class so far, this is a very simplified example. I always say that. It gets more complicated. You guys will get there in due time. Okay, if you guys become a backend developer, you guys want to build APIs, then you guys are gonna need to understand how tables work. Okay, so we have any questions about how Grab's system works, right? The most basic user booking driver. Any questions? Okay. All right, so let's move forward and just look at their diagram. This one should also be a very simple one. When we look at our booking table right here, this one is a little bit off. This one should be called user ID here, I would say. Because what are we looking at here? I don't know what I'm looking at on our booking table. This diagram, like, it should say user ID. Okay? If you want to do the diagram correctly, it should say user ID, and then on the right, it needs to tell us what data type it is. Right? Do you remember this one right here? Think of what Steven did, or the team 1 did. Oh, my bad, wrong one. Usage. Oh, my bad, I hit the wrong one. So when you guys draw a ERD, it has the data type, okay? It should ERD diagram. Not all of them, I guess. But they typically do. These are the simpler ones right here. There you go. Here's a more complicated one. So they'll tell you the exact data type. And this matters too. Why? Why does this matter? Because if you say that this product is going to have a really long description, your computer needs to allocate space.
In that V8 variable with characters 255, I'm assuming, is that like max character setting there?
Exactly. It was in your computer's brain, like the zeros and ones, for every single time you do varchar 250, literally your computer will reserve space and say, like, you're not allowed to touch this one spot. Okay, you're not allowed to touch this one spot. I need to be able to put at least 255 characters in there. So when we do this willy-nilly, right? When we do not choose the correct data type, our database grows in how much data is in it very quickly. So these are just additional concerns. Sometimes I feel like I shouldn't even tell you guys about it, but I know you guys are here to learn, and I want you guys to learn as much as you can. Okay? So just know that when we choose the correct data type, our database will in fact run faster. Any questions?
That count by bytes, right?
Bytes. Does anyone here know what a byte is? A byte. 8 bits. Correct. Okay, so a byte is 8 bits. What is a bit then? Now the question is, what is a bit? A bit is just a 0 or a 1. That's all it is. Okay? And by throwing 2 bytes together, this is some real computer science right here, you guys can draw almost any single character you want. What is a bit? It's a 0 or a 1. My bad. What is a byte? Oh, my bad, I was spelled it wrong. Sorry guys, sorry. What is a bit? It's either a 0 or a 1, okay? And here's a diagram. I don't know if I should be showing you this now. I think Charles is probably gonna yell at me. This is a bit right here. And when you guys combine 8 bits together, that becomes 1 byte. And 1 byte can represent any character. And then any character, a series of characters strung together can represent a word or a data type or anything else. So this is like the fundamentals of programming. Okay, so yeah, that matters. Choosing our data type matters. Overall, let's look at this forward. Okay, a booking has a user ID. This one is backward. Or no. Yeah, okay, that's right. Because a single user right here will have many bookings. And that's what these arrows right here indicate. It means that whatever is on the left, there's one of those, and that whatever that thing on the left can have many of this thing on the right. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, an inbox. Can an inbox have many users? That's confusing. Whatever, I don't want to get into this too much. You guys did a pretty good job. A vehicle information. This one isn't perfect, but whatever, man. You guys can get practice with this, okay? And you guys can get better, okay? So let's move on. Good job, guys. Good job. I want one day though, for whenever you guys play around and do this again, okay? Guys, please do this again, because one day, I promise you, I've been asked to do this in an interview. Draw me an entity relationship diagram. Draw it for me. They've asked me to do this before, and I did it. And then I got the job. Swear to God, true story. So, let me close this one. Guys, add some colors like this one. This one's beautiful. I like this one. You guys know how I feel about colors. I love them. Yep. Okay, so we're going to do one more group. Is it this one? Got our foodie team. Would you guys don't have your table?
Yeah.
Wait.
That's
Go.
Oh, my bad. They put in some good data. I like it. You guys are trying to impress. So this is foodie, guys. This is foodie. This is for reviewing restaurants, right? So obviously we have our users, emails, same thing that you guys have all done. Specifically for them though, they don't have a driver's table, they don't have a booking table, they don't have an orders table. They probably should have an orders table, but whatever, they started small with the restaurants, okay? So a restaurant can have many ratings, right? Yeah, a restaurant can have many ratings. And they named it, their naming is a bit confusing.
What's that?
It's reviews. It should be called reviews here.
What's happening? Yeah, I review table.
They've
This
got
rating.
reviews out on the right. Keep going to the right, and they've already got it.
Whatever, man. I like the effort. I like where this is going. So just know that in a second, you guys are for the next 5 weeks, we're gonna be dealing with these problems right here. It's these problems. We're gonna have all the other problems as well. Don't get me wrong. You guys are gonna still be able to fuck up React World. That's okay. But know that this is an added level of difficulty. But specifically for foodie, whenever you go and eat at a restaurant, the most important thing that they want you to do is write a review. Okay, tell other users how you thought the food was. Was it good? Was it 5 stars, 3 stars, whatever. But specifically more is they need you to review a specific restaurant, right? When you write a review, it's not about anything. It's not about what your mom's wearing tonight. It's not about what that girl's hair looks like. It's about a restaurant. Review the food. So in our reviews, there is an associated restaurant ID. And what does this restaurant ID correspond to? Well, this little number right here is telling you to look in the restaurant's table for the ID that matches this one. And then you can tell that, and with that knowledge, you can determine what this review is for, right? Who is it for? Who is it for? So let's just look at our fourth review, okay? It's for a restaurant with the ID of 7. Someone please tell me which restaurant it is. Exactly, okay? You guys most of you guys get the idea. If you don't, pray. Just pray to God that something happens. They're going somewhere good with the images. They figured out, like, a restaurant on foodie.vn has many different images, okay? And this thing is going to become much, much, much more complicated. I know, I talk about that all the time. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's look at the diagram again, and I want you guys to start working, okay? So we're going to move quickly for this group. So we have our users. Their ID is associated with the review. That makes sense. A review is also associated with a restaurant, okay? So now you guys are understanding why they call it a bridging table. Because really, at the end of the day, the user wants to like review the restaurant, right? But we need to create a table in between that kind of sort of connects them. And this is the easiest way to do it to maintain like other features that we want, okay? And this one's a little bit, once again, I'm going to complain about this one doesn't have colors and it doesn't have the data type here. I want you guys to do that in the future, because like very, very, very soon when we get in, as in like next week, when we start building our API next week, when you guys define a table and define a field in that table, you guys need to also specify the data type, okay? All right, so good job, foodie team, good job. All right, so this is the last part of lecture today. This is going to be the last part of lecture today. Some of you guys have already done this, okay? Some of you are about to get started. Please do this, man. This stuff is great for you. This This interactive thing that we have online called SqlBolt is like Flexbox Froggy, except it is for SQL queries. If you guys go to SqlBolt.com, just go there and then begin the lesson. You guys read through the instructions. I promise you guys aren't going to regret it. And they're going to tell you how to do certain types of queries. Blah, 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 blah. All right, come on, guys. We're almost there. Okay, guys? So right here, you guys can see that we have a table, right? And I've already read this for you guys right here. This thing right here is just basically describing what each exercise does. It describes what each exercise does and what the focus is. So right now, the data that we're dealing with is movies. If I delete everything, whoops. Okay, my bad. I thought it would delete everything. Yeah. So right now, when you guys, this is the syntax for SQL. Okay, you guys can make it lowercase if you want, and it would still work. But all of the key words, you guys should make them capitalized. Okay, does this work? So now so the star means select all, but specifically, let's just test it, okay? What if we only wanted to find just the title, right? So instead of select all, we should do select title. And that would give us all the titles inside of what table?
It's not case sensitive.
It's not. But you're supposed to for human readability. So like select is a SQL keyword, you name it select, capitalize. And from. When I say it's a keyword, that means you're not allowed to name a table select. You're not allowed to name a table from. Okay, you do not do that. If you do that, you will fuck up your SQL. Okay, but that being said, whenever you use these keywords, make it capitalized. If you don't make it capitalized, it will not throw an error, but it will make it more difficult for you and your other developers to read. Okay, so what if we wanted the director from each movie? Well, instead of selecting the title from movies, we could select the director from movies. And then you guys will see that our database or our query updates. Okay? So obviously we can look at multiple fields. We can look at title and director. And now you guys will see that we've selected the title and the director from our movies table. That make sense, everyone? Okay, so lastly we're gonna do title and year. And now you can see that we figured out our Toy Stories, what year it in. There's so much more complicated stuff you can do, okay? So I'm gonna show you one more right now, okay? And I'm gonna show it to you, and I'm gonna explain how I know it, okay? So we're gonna say where year is greater than
2000.
huh? I did this wrong. Okay, so this is how we make assertions, right? So we can say, all right, what if your boss came and says, like, man, I really wish all the movies from the year 2000 and above, we want the new movies. If you guys know SQL, you can do this easily. Obviously, you guys have eyes, you guys have half a brain in your head. You guys can do this by yourselves when you have 20 records. But imagine you have 1 million records. It's impossible, you cannot do this. You need the help of your computer. We could also have everything less than the year 2000. What if we wanted all the movies that came out in 1995? There's a bunch of different syntax. Is right here. You guys, it wasn't magic how I learned this, guys. Okay? It was doing these exercises and also taking a class. But whatever, you guys are taking a class right now. You're gonna do the exercises. So that's how you guys are gonna learn this, okay? And I promise you this will be useful for you in the very near future. Okay? So please do these exercises all the way. Do it from the beginning to the end. Read through the descriptions. Okay? And then when you're done, do them again. It's just like Flexbox Froggy. It's gonna help you learn a lot. Do you have any questions? Okay, guys, get working.